Florida State signs 32 players.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into National Signing Day. I am your host, Brian Smith, here on this Locked On Seminoles podcast. Appreciate you all stopping in each and every day, just like today, a holiday for recruiting fans like myself. Today's show is brought to you by those over at FanDuel. Today's show is also one that you can have a lot of fun because we are in the middle of the NFL season. And to get in on all the action, just head over to FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. We're going to be talking about the Florida State Seminoles class, what's going on nationally, and why this is one of the wildest classes in the history of Florida State and major college football, honestly. Your coach is almost out. He gets kept. I think they're going to lose a whole bunch of players. They don't. They signed 10 defensive linemen in one class. That is astronomical. And Florida State keeps the majority of the players that they need. Is it a perfect class? No. But all things considered, Florida State did pretty well. So first things first, again, 10 players, 10 Florida State signed to the defensive line. We're going to talk about that throughout the podcast. And we'll even talk about it for the 2027 class, what that means. That's later on in the show. What are we talking about long-term here? How does this class impact Norvell? How does this impact 2026 in terms of the season and then the 2027 class? We'll get into that. But overall, I really want to talk about the defensive line and how this is actually a fairly balanced class despite all the turmoil at Florida State. Got to give them some credit. Let's look at the defensive line in general. Again, 10 guys, a lot of versatility. They signed a few players that were massive. They signed a lot of length, some 6'5", 6'6" guys. And at the end, they get Cam Brooks, somebody that I went on about an 8 to 10 minute rant on earlier this year when he committed to Cal, a kid from Thomas County Central. Should never be going to Cal over FSU, but we'll get to him in a second. Ernest Rankins, probably the surest bet to be a guy that ends up being a major player for the Noles out of Southwest DeKalb, greater Atlanta area. I've talked about him numerous times here on Locked On Seminoles. I think he's a really, really good player. Franklin Whitley, a defensive lineman, Greenville, South Carolina, a kid that they kind of snuck in and got at the last minute. Another long athletic kid, 6'5", 6'6". Jamin Pinkney, they just flipped him, 6'5", 217 pounds. Another kid out of South Carolina. They get him out of after he was committed, I believe, to USF. DeMond Lewis is a kid that I really liked out of Myers Park, a defensive end. A kid that a lot of people kind of overlooked. He's a really good program, by the way. This is a good class up front, in so many ways. And then the guy that I think may have the biggest impact, Jalen Anderson. He's out of Pearl River Community College in Mississippi. I think it is brilliant to use the junior college ranks. Any kid that's played is going to get at least 1, if not 2 years back from the junior college ranks. That's still kind of an impending situation. Florida State was smart there. Whitley Cadeau, defensive lineman out of Booker T, very underrated out of Atlanta. Chris Carbon, a kid that I love, is definitely underrated out of Hillgrove High School, greater Atlanta area again. I think he could be an edge guy. Isaiah Williams could end up being an edge. He's listed as a linebacker. This is one of the wildest defensive line classes, not only in Florida State history, but college football history, because it has so much upside. I don't even know where to go with it in terms of overall happiness, because Florida State, let's be honest, they just got ran over by Florida. They're probably, I'm guessing based on this class, some of the guys that have a chance to come back may not be on the defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys were not remaining in Tallahassee next year. Wouldn't shock me. Let's see what happens with that. I'm curious because this is a lot of linemen to bring in and not to cut bait with a few guys that hadn't run out of eligibility. Could happen. To that end, it's not a perfect class. Let's talk about a couple of the things that I'm at least a little bit concerned about. Overall, again, you got 32 guys that are signed, 17 on defense, 15 on offense. The offensive line gets 5 guys. That's the good news. Of those 5 guys, they took a junior college kid, which I've been saying they should do for quite a while. And they also got Jacoby Green, local kid, Gadsden County, a really good interior play. Stephen Moore is the offensive tackle. I don't know a ton about him, but JUCO kid, 6'5", 320. He's been to college. We'll see. Michael Ionata, really underrated kid. Stephen Picard, probably more of a guy that's developmental. They flipped from Syracuse. They got some players, but Nakai Heppy, This is the wildest. He played at the NFL Academy in London. I believe he's from either New Zealand or Australia originally. He's like 370 pounds, but he's played rugby. He's done all kinds of things. He's a bit of a project because he's new to football, but he's one of the most massive kids on planet Earth. So this is a boomer bust kind of deal. Florida State needs linemen, though. They didn't sign that pure stud offensive tackle in this class. Let's see what happens, but I would have liked to have had one more tackle, a high school kid that everybody wanted. Florida State didn't get that. But everything else, like you got a running back, quarterback, Jaden O'Neal, could play in about any offense. You got Amari at running back, a local kid. He played at Bluntstown High School. You flipped him from South Carolina after he was originally committed to the Noles. He gets back in the class. 6 receivers, all very athletic, including Jason Lopez, a kid that's a great route runner. I think he's a guy that can play pretty early for Florida State. Devin Carter, another receiver. He's a Douglas County kid, very, very talented. Xavier Tiller out of Langston Hughes. He's a flex tight end I think can play early. I don't think this class has a lot of players that aren't good. I'm just not sure it has enough high-end guys, impact players to make everybody happy. That's the only question. If you want a surprise player that I think can help them next year, Corbin Fordham, his dad Todd played at Florida State, offensive lineman, flex tight ends / H-backs / fullbacks, especially if Gus is back. We don't know if he is. There's still rumors about whether he is or is not going to be back. I'll believe whatever happens when it's announced. I'm not going to chase that. But to that end, I'm pretty happy with this class. Like there's enough pieces on each side of the ball, they can work through it. Is it perfect? No, but I'm just surprised because I wondered if they were going to, no kidding. I wondered if Florida State was going to sign 20 guys. They're at 32 because I figured several kids would cut bait because they got hammered so much in recruiting. So one of two things happened, or possibly both. They spent more money to keep some of the kids. Fair enough. And number two, they actually started doing something that I didn't expect. Florida State is actually going to spend their NIL more towards the prep ranks than the portal. 32 players. That's about a third of your roster in one recruiting class. 32. That's a lot. When we come back, I'm going to jump in the chat. I want you to think about the following question, though. What is next for Florida State recruiting, and how does this class, additional question, impact the portal that opens on January 2nd? That's next here on Locked on Seminoles. Today's show is brought to you by Aurora. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on, and it is something that you want to get meaningful and personal with for some of those special loved ones. How about a guaranteed reaction? Aurora Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It is not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aurora isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no difficult setups, no headaches, just instant smiles. So whether it's your grandparents, your sister, your friends, maybe it's a gift that you give at your local military place where somebody's a veteran and needs a smile, and you knew one of his old friends, whatever it is you want to do, this is a great way to go. Aurora Frames is there for you, and you can help yourself or your friends and loved ones. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting AuroraFrames.com to get $35 off Aurora's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's Aurora, AURA frames.com, promo code COLLEGE. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now. Get in time for the holidays. Support this show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. With FanDuel, you got an opportunity to get in on all the action with NFL just going crazy. We're getting down to that point where we're starting talking about playoffs. One big play, and suddenly everything else feels different. All the games are heating up. So that's what makes making live betting even more exciting with FanDuel. You're not just watching the game, you are reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum-changing play, every highlight and moment. Live betting is best when the games start to shift. A receiver gets hot, a quarterback gets hot, a sack, a turnover, whatever it may be. FanDuel is going to let you jump in on all the action. Live spreads, money lines adjust, all that stuff happens instantly. You can even use player props. They're going to be updated as the game goes along as well. You can always do parlays as well. So if you want to jump right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, let's jump back into the chat here and just have a little fun, see what's going on. Appreciate everybody stopping in today, too. Your thoughts on Lopez? Do you think he's really as good as advertised? I've seen Lopez play multiple times, seen him practice, seen him at multiple Under Armour events. He's the real deal. He turns people around. His route running is way advanced. He's a kid that has some moxie to him. He's a point guard that's a Division I level player. This is an athlete. Hand-eye coordination is through the roof. He's legit. Mike Merrick, what's going on, Mike? Awesome class. Go Noles. I don't know if it's awesome, but it's pretty good, and it's intriguing for sure. Almighty. FSU has a chance to be bowl eligible next year. It's sad that we're even considering that they're not, but thanks for mentioning it. Appreciate it. Hopefully they will do pretty well, but I have no idea what's going to happen. Won't matter who they sign. Norvell is still the head man at Florida State, says Love Dog 638. You may not be wrong on that, but I'd still rather have the talent than not. I think we can all agree on that. The Cam Brooks signing was a very pleasant surprise at the end of the day. I told people yesterday, and it's why I waited to do this show, there's going to be at least one random guy, and they had a couple, that are going to sign. Today's era is different. Way different. Players make decisions. Players do some stupid things. But bottom line, these players, looking at the NIL, they're looking at relationships. It can lead kids to all kinds of different directions. Jonathan Dwayne, 2880. Word is we are in the running for Russell wide receiver and Trenton Henderson. Look, if more get added, I've been trying to run the Portal podcast today, doing it nationally. Anything's possible. I know there are a couple other guys. I'm not going to get into specifics for other schools. Maybe Florida State's involved with them. Jace Matthews is still on the board, the kid from Mississippi for LSU and Auburn and Ole Miss. Why couldn't Florida State get involved? Anything is possible. It's the NIL era, man. Rock and Roll 13, 3-star you in full effect today, everyone. It may be true that a lot of them are 3 stars, but to be honest with you, Jeremy, this is a little bit better than what I expected. Again, I'm just going to state this in full autonomy here. No lying. I questioned privately, with all that's going on, would Norvell and company sign 20 kids? I thought a lot of decommitments would happen right at the end. They're at 32. I missed by a mile. With all that was going on, like, look at Penn State. Holy cow, that's bad. Anything's possible. Rock and roll. Brian, would you give this class a C+? I'd give it a B-. The linemen make a difference, man. If you're going to miss or take chances on linemen, and FSU absolutely did that. Rock and roll. Smash the like button, everyone. Amen to that. Truth Teller. What's the ranking? Somewhere in the top 15. Anywhere between 12 and 14, depending on who you look at. Class is a little better than I thought, but there's a lot of high-risk guys that could be boom or bust. It's intriguing, but there is certainly a lot. Let's see. Gerard Williams. We loaded up on D linemen. 10 of them. 10 D linemen. Champs, 998. If Florida State gets a real quarterback, they can be in the hunt for the ACC and playoff spot next year. A lot of people are going to be looking for QBs this offseason. I'm curious if Gus comes back. Does Tommy Castellanos come back? There's a lot of questions ahead. If you check the post from the other day, I said we grabbed 2 edges and a tackle. Just saying. Hey, man. Good job by you. Rhinos. Any 4-star players interested in Florida State? I mean, they got several that are committed or on the border of it. We'll see what the final rankings come out with. There could be a couple more guys like Florida State's after, but which ones go where at this point? I've turned off listening to the room. Like my phone, I put it far enough away from me right now. I can't even get to it. I don't want to know who's calling me. I don't want to know who's texting me. I don't care anymore. I'm just waiting for the results and I'm going to pass it on. No more speculation on my end. Luke, most of these guys need to play next year, especially the high 4 stars, period. That's a great point. Let me just throw this out there. Florida State has a lot of talent in this class. It's a lot of raw guys. If I had to pick anybody to come in and play early, that's rough. Cam Brooks might be one of those guys, the kid from Thomas County Central they got today. Great kid, by the way. Really, really good guy. It's hard to say. Xavier Tiller is a really good athlete. Jason Lopez, Isaiah Williams has the possibility of playing. He's a linebacker / edge out of the Central Florida area. Maybe Ernest Rankins. And again, I just want to reiterate, with all the D linemen signed, are we sure all the kids that have eligibility left are coming back? Like a couple of those transfers, I wouldn't be surprised that, they didn't work out that well. If they did end up leaving, we'll see. Who else might play? The kid that should play the most, by the way, this JUCO kid, he's been to college. Jalen Anderson's my pick to play the earliest. He's a guy that maybe he adjusts, maybe he doesn't. He's an extremely highly rated edge rusher out of Mississippi. Maybe that's the guy, but Florida State needs another pass rusher to go with Amari. So I'm going with that. He's got some experience. That certainly doesn't hurt. Amari Thomas, running back, wouldn't shock me. Corbin Fordham, the H-back, they could certainly use another one of those. Trying to see anybody else that I think could surprise. Dalen Green will play on special teams for sure right out of the gate. He is a thumper. Karan Maycock, that would be another one that I think is very interesting. I don't know how they would use him exactly, but nickel and dime, athletic as all get out. He's used to competition. He's from Miami Central. I mean, they play about as tough a competition as you're going to get. So Stephen Moore, another offensive lineman. This kid is a JUCO kid out of Garden City, Kansas. Wouldn't be surprised at all. He's got the size. Maybe he's your starting right or left tackle. I haven't even seen his film yet. Those are a few of the guys, but like Devin Carter's another one that could play early. Florida State has some dudes that could. Is it perfect again? Yeah, like I said, I don't know, but it's a pretty good day. Good day in which we got some more O-line. They got 5. I just wish they got like one elite high school tackle. Everybody wants that guy though, right? I get it. Let's get it in the 4507. New O-line coach, same 3 stars. Florida State does have to up their game on the O-line. How do we get so many wide receivers? Surprised with the OC uncertainty, but I'll take it. That's a great question. I think a lot of the receivers just wanted to go to Florida State. A lot of these kids grew up rooting for the Noles. That's got to be part of it. That's a good question, though. Ed D, these backers and edge guys better be ready to play early, 100%. Florida State needs pass rushers, linebackers, and even a few hybrid safeties. They better be ready. Maycock, etc., Isaiah, they all better be ready to play. Most of these guys need to play next year, especially the high 4 stars. I already did that one. One last thing here, and I'll wrap this up. I need to see the rest of these kids sign. Florida State's still in on some people. I don't want to go too deep into this and give grades because Florida State's still in on a few, allegedly. But note the following. Considering where Florida State was, let's be honest, when Norvell was announced that he was being back and all that stuff, did any of you think they would pick up Cam Brooks, get a really good pass rusher out of the JUCO ranks, flip a couple of guys that were high school kids that are really good pass rushers? Like, did anybody think that was going to happen? Because I didn't. They finished better than I thought. Can't complain about that. My only real question, take it for what it's worth, how many of these guys can truly contribute right away? Again, the JUCO kids, you would think they got a better chance. Maybe 1 or 2 of the guys like Cam Brooks, he's a mature kid, can come in and play, but that's hard. So that brings back up the question that I said before the break. How much does this massive class, are already at 32, and they could add somebody else, how does that impact the portal? Will Florida State end up signing 2 more players, 3 more players? I have no idea. Until they sign, I'm at the point where, again, I'm done like checking my phone, calling people, texting people, getting DMs on X. If I get something that's handed to me, fine. But I've chased enough rumors over the last 72 hours. I'm good. Kind of waiting for everything to come out just like the rest of you. But the numbers are interesting. Who leaves? Who do they hit in the portal? And again, I don't know for sure what's happening with Malzahn. Are there any assistant coaches are leaving? It is going to be an extremely busy month on Locked On Seminoles. I'll try to get a podcast in on Friday if I can. I'm traveling the next 2 days. I may or may not be able to. Please note that. But I will have a podcast up on Saturday in the morning, if nothing else. But we get back to Sunday night, I'll probably do another live show. There'll be some kind of news. By Sunday night, I'll do a live show. hopefully where I'm at, internet will work well. I'm going to be at my parents' house. We'll see how that goes. But thank you very much to everybody that's hanging out with us. It's still a lot of fun. This signing day to me is so much fun. Some people like it more than others, but I've always enjoyed it quite a bit. Tim Harris is a really good recruiter. Yes, he is. Tim's a great guy, too. Really good guy. Kendall, that's true. I think him and Pat, the best ones we got. Let's see. Chris, too. We get running backs. Florida State's running back room is not a bad problem. Let's see here. Jerry Foster, love your show and your honesty. I just want to see improvement, development, urgency, and respect from the team. We're on the same page. Just play hard, man. Just play hard. You think we'll keep Herb Hand? I have no idea because Herb is attached, to my knowledge, to Gus. They're buddies. They've coached together at several places. That would be the biggest question for me. 21 reader, monster class, 65K per year average, 14th class, the entire top 10, 150 to 200 per player average. I like the turnaround he did with the O-line. I mean, O-line this year, Florida State was pretty good for Herb. Herb Hand did a pretty good job. Champs, 998. Yes, I think Gus retires. It's possible. He's an older man now, and he's coached for a long time. Could Malzahn retire? Absolutely. He's got homes in Alabama. He probably has one. I'm guessing he kept the one in Orlando, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know where he's living in Tallahassee, but he's got the money to do what he wants. If he retired, it would not surprise me. Well, that's going to do it for Locked On Seminoles. Thank you very much for stopping in. Appreciate it. Please hit that like button, share this podcast, hit that notification bell if you are on YouTube so you can know when we're putting up new pods. We will see you again soon on Locked On Seminoles.